7 years New Jersey State Prison to run consecutive to the previously mentioned counts, bringing both defendants to a total of 52 years New Jersey State Prison, 45 years of which need to be served without a period of parole. Let's strike that. 45 years of which need to be served with the 85% component applicable. With respect to the official misconduct count, it can't be lost on the court that each of the victims testified that while they were abused at Mr. Milia's residence in Morristown, hanging on the bedroom door were police uniforms. I would suggest to the court, and the court had the opportunity to witness these victims. These were not sophisticated children. They were children at the time. These were not sophisticated young women who testified before Your Honor. They were not well educated. They did not come from particularly good home environments. That being said, Judge, Mr. Milia and his abuse upon those kids should be served consecutively for the official misconduct count. As a police officer, he had an absolute duty to arrest Ms. Lewis while he watched and or participated in her sexually abusing these children. Police need to be held to a higher standard, Your Honor. They are well compensated for what they do in most towns. Certainly in Morristown Township, they're well compensated. That is not why the court should sentence him to the 7 years consecutive, but it should sentence him to the 7 years consecutive because he was, as a police officer, he owed a duty to those children that they would not be abused, and he let that happen and participated in it. And as a police officer, and by the mere presence of those uniforms intimidating those children to A, not resist, and B, not tell anybody because of their home lives, who would believe them, he should be held accountable for that. Finally, Your Honor, I think I would be remiss in not thanking the A.P. Raymond, who spent tremendous time on this case, as well as the numerous investigating detectives who put together an exceptional case and spent countless hours not only investigating this case but getting it ready for trial. And it was based upon their collective efforts that we were able to be successful, certainly with the testimony of the victims. One of the things that is lost, I think, lost to everybody but those who participate in prepping a case like this is what goes on behind the scenes. And what goes on behind the scenes, Judge, is often left to the child advocates to make sure that the victims are willing to cooperate. That happened here. What also is lost to most is in prepping witnesses at time, you get to see the raw tenderness that they evoke, not in front of a room full of strangers, that being a jury and a court and the defendants. And I can tell the court that 2 of the 3 victims cried every time we talked to them. One of the 3 came into court and showed no emotion, which happens sometimes. But sometimes victims get on the witness stand and kind of shut down because they need to go into protect mode. And that happened here with one of the victims. But I don't want the court to think that because there may not have been emotion, that was predominant throughout the preparation of this case. And in fact, none of us were left unscarred by the conduct of these 2 defendants upon the victims in this case. Finally, I'd like to thank the victims for having the courage to come forward and go through this process. It was not something they chose to do. It's not something they wanted to do. And I think that was pretty clear from the cross-examination of those then young women and one young man